All right. Well, we got a whole bunch of kids up here. Hang on. Let me get over by my dinosaurs. All right. Have a seat there, ma'am. Last one sitting down is no good. All right. Thank you guys for coming. My name is Kent Hovind. And I was a high school science teacher for 15 years, and I like science. Do you guys like science? Yeah. We can show you the scientific way to eat a Lifesaver. I think I have one here. Just a minute.
I like science.
You like science. Good, good, good. First, you get the Lifesaver out of the wrapper. Okay? Now watch this carefully. Pay attention here, sir. Pay attention. You put the Lifesaver on the back of your hand like this. Oh. The scientific way to eat a Lifesaver. There. Almost. There. We'll get it. Girls can do it easier because their mouth is a little bigger. Whoa. Maybe it's too big. Here. Here's the other scientific way to eat one. Okay. Now, I like dinosaurs. I want to talk to you guys about dinosaurs this morning. Okay. This one is the Apatosaurus. Starts with an A. You can pat him, but he will bite. Now, a lot of Apatosaurus bones have been found in the ground, and they put all the bones together and figure out that's about what he looked like. I like the Apatosaurus, but there's one thing about him I do not like. And I'm going to tell you about that in just a minute, okay? Then we have the Brachiosaurus. Now, I want you to see the difference. The Apatosaurus' back legs are longer than his front legs. The Brachiosaurus' front legs are longer than his back legs. He's jacked up in the back, he's jacked up in the front. This one probably got better gas mileage, and this one had more horsepower. I don't know, okay? But the Brachiosaurus is the tallest dinosaur. Biggest one found, 60 feet tall. Taller than the church. Does this have a steeple on it?
He's taller.
Taller. Way up there. His footprint was so big, you could take a bath in his footprint. He weighed as much as 14 school buses put together. And if he was to step on you, you would be deeply impressed by him. And I like the Brachiosaur, but there's one thing about him I do not like. And I'm going to tell you about that in just a minute, okay? This one is Styracosaurus. He is having a bad hair day. I like the Styracosaurus. He had one horn on his nose, big things on, made it very hard to put his shirt on in the morning too, with all this stuff back here. But there's one thing about the Styracosaurus I do not like. And I'm going to tell you about that in just a minute, okay? This one is the Plesiosaur. He had these flippers so he could fly through the air. No? Swim. He could swim through the air.
No.
Water.
Yeah.
He could fly through the water.
No. Because the water is water.
Swim through the water.
Yeah.
Okay. He had these flippers. He could swim through the water, had a long neck, and when he got a sore throat, it was a real serious problem when he got a sore throat. He had teeth right there and flippers, and he could bite. Now, I like the Plesiosaur, but there's one thing about the Plesiosaur I do not like. And I'm going to tell you about that in just a minute, okay? This one is a Stuffosaurus. He is stuffed full of stuff. I like the Stuffosaurus because this one's reading his Bible. I especially like that one. But there's one thing about the Stuffosaurus I don't like. And I'm going to tell you about that in just a minute, okay? Now this one got hit by a train and he lost the rest of his body. This is actually called a Parasaurolophus. Can you say all that? Parasaurolophus. Had this big bump on the back of his head. It was hollow, connected to his nose.
No.
So he could blow whatever was up there out his nose, probably like a trumpet, where he could call his wife, or his wife could call him, "Come home for supper, honey," or something. I don't know, whatever they talk about. Okay. So he had this thing connected, and it was hollow, connected to his nose. Some people think this might have been the fire-breathing dragon. He could store chemicals up there and spray them out. This is the, what was the name of this one again? Parasaurolophus. Parasaurolophus. Anybody remember the name of this one?
Oh, that's a big dinosaur. What?
This is the Brachiosaur. Now, I like the Parasaurolophus. He was pretty cool. But there's one thing about him I do not like. And I'm going to tell you about that in just a minute. Okay? Now, I also have the Kronosaur. Now, the Kronosaur had flippers so he could fly through the air.
No! He can't.
Swim.
No!
He could swim through the air.
No!
Water.
Yeah!
He could fly through the water.
No!
What?
He can
Swim.
in the water.
But one kid was kind of rough with him and broke his leg off, and he is really angry about it. And his teeth is long enough. It is about 9 feet long, his teeth. That's about from that piano to here. That's just his jaw. That means if he was to come by and bite you, it would be serious. Now, I like the Kronosaurus a whole lot, but there is one thing about him I do not like. And I'm going to tell you about that in just a minute, okay? This one is, where'd he go? Oh, the Triceratops. He had 3 horns.
Wow. I know that's 4. That's 3. No, that's 4. No.
3.
Yes.
He had 3 horns. The Triceratops is about 26 feet long. It's about from here to that light up there. He was pretty big. Triceratops had a big shield on the back of his head, and 3 horns made it very hard to comb his hair in the morning. And I like the Triceratops, but there's one thing about him I do not like. And I'm going to tell you about that in just a minute. Now, we also have, where'd he go? Oh,
No more dinosaurs. What? He's right there.
oh, this is a claw, a fingernail from a Megaraptor. Now, kids, listen very carefully to this one. Pay close attention. This is one of his fingernails, which means he had to be very careful when he picked his nose. If you bump him in the elbow while he's trying to pick his nose, he's going to be mad at you for a long time. I like the raptors, but there's one thing about them I do not like. And I'm going to tell you about that right now. The one thing about all of the dinosaurs I do not like. Every time you open a book about dinosaurs, what's the first sentence in the book say?
They lived
Millions of years ago. That is baloney. Dinosaurs did not live millions of years ago. God made them with Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. They probably rode them around for pets. Noah took them on the ark. After the flood, people killed most of them. But guess what, boys and girls? One of these days, the Bible says God's going to fix the world back like it used to be in the Garden of Eden. And if you've got Jesus living in your heart and you're going to heaven, maybe you'll get to live here for that 1,000 years and get to have your own pet dinosaurs.
T-Rex.
I'm going to have a bunch of them in my yard.
T-Rex.
I'm going to have a T-Rex. Well, can you imagine? You like riding 4-wheelers around the woods. You could talk about 4-wheel drive. These guys could really go in the mud. Climb up on his tail, sit on his back, and hang on for dear life. I think God made the dinosaurs so we would realize how smart God is. And the devil said, you know what, boys and girls? This is God's creatures. In Job chapter 40, it says he's the chief of the ways of God, the biggest animal God made. So the devil said, I got to figure out some way to use God's animals against God. And that's what he's been doing for a long time, teaching kids a lie about dinosaurs lived millions of years ago. Now listen, here's what you got to do. When you're ever in school and the teacher or somebody says, millions of years ago, just raise your hand and say, excuse me, Were you there? I'll say, well, no, I wasn't there. Well, now, do you know this is millions of years ago, or is this just something you believe? You can't know millions of years ago. You can believe it if you want. So I think we need some kids to know the truth that God made everything in 6 days, including the dinosaurs. Noah took them on the ark. They've always lived with man. People killed most of them. They're probably gone. Most of them are gone. But there could be a few still alive. That's another raptor claw. Whoa. I like dinosaurs. Anyway, I would like you kids to become dinosaur missionaries, using dinosaurs to teach your friends at school or that live in your neighborhood, teach them the truth. Dinosaurs did not live millions of years ago. They're part of God's creatures. God loves dinosaurs. I like dinosaurs. So, I like dinosaurs. But there's one thing about them I do not like. I don't like the way the devil is using them to teach a lie, and I think it's about time God's kids start using them to teach the truth. A great ministry. Anybody could do this. Get a bag full of dinosaurs and gather the kids around and start teaching them. How many kids in your neighborhood, within 5 miles of your house, are being taught evolution? Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. Well, I go back to Florida tomorrow. You reach them. You might. I bet each one of you kids knows somebody who's not going to heaven. You better ask them, hey, you want to go to heaven? So you can have your own pet dinosaur one day? That's going to be cool. I can't wait. Oh, who's got questions? Real quick, questions?
Which one's the Loch Ness Monster?
I think probably the Loch Ness Monster is the Plesiosaur. Where'd he go with the long? There you go. There we go. Everybody that reports the Loch Ness Monster says it looks kind of like this, but the neck is a little shorter. That's what most people say. There have been 11,000 reported sightings now of the Loch Ness Monster. And they had little bitty sharp teeth, and they could bite. Okay, any other questions? Yes, ma'am. Smallest dinosaurs are smaller than a chicken. Actually, quite a few dinosaurs were smaller than a chicken. There's only a few really, really, really big ones. Okay, yes, sir.
What's the biggest dinosaur in the world?
Biggest dinosaur is the Brachiosaur, so far. Now, there's about 5 different flavors of this one. There's the Brachiosaur, the Supersaur, the Mamenchisaur, the Seismosaur, the Apatosaur. They're all basically the same kind. See, if you find dinosaur bones in the ground, and it's not a brand new dinosaur, you don't become famous. So the only way to be famous is to find a new dinosaur. So every time they find some bones, they try to find a bump on it that's a little different and make it a whole new species, when actually there's only about 30 different kinds of dinosaurs. But there's 800 different names in the books. If you want to learn them all, good luck with that. They got names about that long, some of them. Yes, sir.
Do you want to have this dinosaur?
This is another Stuffosaurus. He is stuffed.
You want me to put it back?
Sure, I do. You can't take them home with you, but you can play with them. Yes. Oh, this one is a Taiwanosaurus.
Oh, wow.
Made in Taiwan.
Where did you get these?
I got these out of my black suitcase.
I finally closed.
He's had a rough life. He's been to the hospital.
I'm sure they have a dinosaur service.
I don't know what this one is. This is probably another Taiwanosaurus. There's a whole lot of Taiwanosauruses made in Taiwan. I can't hear you.
Was there a unicorn in the Bible?
The unicorns are mentioned in the Bible like 7 times. I don't know what it is. I think probably a single-horned dinosaur instead of a horse with a horn. Well, this is a Squidosaurus.
Wow.
Technically, just a squid. Don't eat that, okay? Now, you guys can play with my dinosaurs, but leave them here when you're done and don't break them. So be nice to him, okay? Because this one, he gets angry and he will bite. Arr! All right, yes, sir. Last question.
Is this a real tooth?
This is a real
These are real.
fossil, and I'm not sure what it is. There's not enough there to tell. I think maybe a rib from something. A rib, maybe from a mammoth, maybe from a dinosaur. I don't know.
It's a rock.
People who find bones all the time, sometimes they get so good at it, they could look at it and say, oh, yeah. It's like mechanics that work on cars. You could hand them a part, and they'll say, oh, yeah, that's the starter solenoid from a 58 Chevy, you know, if you're really good at it, okay? I don't know what it is. It's a rock. All right. Thank you, folks. Last one sitting back in your seat is no good. Ready, set, go. Hurry, hurry, hurry.
Were there any dinosaurs that could fly?
There were quite a few that could fly. The pterodactyl, the pteranodon, the rhamphorhynchus. There's another one. I don't remember, but yes. Okay.
I know what the smallest dinosaur is.
Which one?
Copy.
Jump down? Maybe so. All right, brother, are we another song, or what were you going to do? What's next?
Mine is the finger. I'd like to
Next question answer time, right?